Relationships are much more tightened, demonstrated by this particular visit. And as we may all recall, Vietnam has the best experience around renewal. They also, in our closed session, shared with us on their own life experience of 40 years of renewal. Something that the ANC, both organizationally, but as well as for the people of South Africa, we take quite seriously. That indeed renewal is not a once-off, and renewal is a process, both in state, amongst people, and in the party. The second issue about these relationships is around opportunities that exist between Vietnam and South Africa in the areas of trade. There's also those 4 issues that they've identified that they believe we need to work together on. And those processes, that's why you saw Comrade Mamuluku Kubai, who's the chair of the ETC, who must then review the commission's work and the progress that has been made in government and rekindle those areas that have not been paid attention to, such as coal, for example, the issues around technology and knowledge-based economy that they are also quite advanced in. We all are still cracking our heads on whether it's right or wrong to deal with the health insurance. Over 90% of the people of Vietnam are covered by the national health insurance, and access to quality education throughout the education system is also one of the best practices that we will work on. And hopefully then through this GNU, we can show all other parties why it is so important to be open-minded and see how other countries have progressed. They've increased even their middle strata, albeit all these issues of social security. They've now actually are going into a much more higher number of over 60% of a middle class that consciously they are building. And these are some of the good things that through our own work in terms of 30 years of democracy, we will pick up these weaknesses and go and interact with them on building the ANC, renewing the ANC, political education. What has it taken the Vietnamese Communist Party to renew itself over these 40 years? And now it is actually an organization that is quite confident that they may not have concluded renewal, but they are on the right path because the country and the party are stable.
100 days on since the government of national unity, it's not that easy. We saw what the one of the leaders of the DA, Helen Zille, said based on what has transpired in Tshwane. Quite turbulent times in terms of some of the levels of government, not necessarily national.
We have agreed that there should always be interaction and engagement at the political level. We will not want to engage on platforms that are not correct, and it is in our interest, not that we can't respond, but the most important thing is that nobody must assume that we serve in the GNU at their behest. There are so many other parties that are signatories to the GNU, and there has to be also respect of one another, as well as appreciation of what we all stand for. And throwing threats against each other is not in the spirit of trying to build unity in action and through collaboration. We will also in this NWC reflect on the progress, and not only the 100 years, the 100 days of the GNU, but also look at how we deal with what was called a clearing platform, where when there are issues where there's deadlock, we find space to break those deadlock, those areas where we have actually been deadlocked at. It's unfortunate how Helen conducts herself.